And you have an unfair advantage because your brother blazed the trail for you. So I probably should be talking to him and not you, but because he did all the hard work. He did all the hard work. But like, what was one of the things?
I've had that for 60 years. Thank you.
Okay, welcome to Expat's Diaries podcast, where today we are meeting with another fabulous expat who has moved down from the States. Mr. Terry Carlile is in the house with us. I'm so excited to visit with him and walk you guys through the story of how he came to be in Costa Rica. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning to you. Thanks for having me this time with me.
Now, it works really good for me. I'm in the States right now, so I'm an hour later than you. So like, it's not that early for me. Matter of fact, I kept getting it screwed up and I'm like, hang on, I need to talk to him at 7. I'm like, no, not 7, 9. So I was, the time differences are always like weird to me whenever most of the year we're all in the same time, but whenever we do the time change, then we're an hour off from, Costa Rica. So, tell me about your journey to Costa Rica. Like, when did it first pop on your radar that this is someplace I might want to be?
Well, after, our last parent died 12 years ago, my twin brother was scoping out different places in the Central America to possibly, relocate to or spend some time with. And after 2 or 3 countries, he kept coming back to Costa Rica, and then he made his move here. So every year for 12 years, I would come down once a year and visit with him and, and see the area, enjoy the place. And then when the opportunity arose, 5 years ago, I took the opportunity to make the move myself. So it was from what my twin brother research had done, earlier, and coming down here. And I said, yeah, beautiful location, everything that I'm looking for. So we made the move.
So you guys are, you and your brother are out in Guanacaste, correct?
Right. We're over here in Brazilito, Flamingo area, Trero area. We're from Tamarindo.
Nice. And so I know that when we spoke that you have several different talents. And I'm kind of interested to see how they all translate in Costa Rica as far as I can still work and have a career and do whatever. And so like graphic designer, church, real estate, pilot, fancy dresser with your Hawaiian shirts there. Tell me how all of these things fit together within your life at Costa Rica.
Well, every time I came down, I always visit with the howlermag.com owner. Said, I want to come down there one day and I'm going to, sell advertising. He said, well, we need you. So I already had that kind of there. But what really spurred me to get down here was an opportunity to assist my brother at Beach Community Church in Brazilito. Short-time sponsorship, as I got settled. And so that's really what brought me down here. And of course, I started working with Howler at the same time. Back then, it was just in print. Mainly, there was an online presence, but talked about the transition during COVID about Howler Mag. But I got to use my public relations skills, marketing, and doing all that. And then suddenly, the graphic designer passed away on us suddenly, and so I began doing all the graphic design for the magazine. Even at it doesn't matter what age you are, you're always learning or having to learn or use the skills that you have in your past to adjust. So became a full-time graphic designer for the magazine. COVID hit, we quit printing, we maximized our website presence, and last 2 years we've had over 9 million unique readers, 60% North America, 35% Costa Rica, and another 5% in Europe. So it's a variety of articles that people can read and interact with digital magazine. Maybe you'll provide a link for that. So I
just made myself a note, links that I needed for Howler Magazine. I literally had already written it down. So I will put the link to Howler Magazine in the show notes down below.
Oh, super. So that was, and then work at church and working in the community. We do a variety of things with our church, simple things like kids baseball and softball for the guys, and feeding center, supporting them, and We have Spanish services and English services, and it's a good opportunity for people to build their faith. And that's like another full-time, part-time job.
I'm sure. So
And then
did you and your brother, did you guys start the church together? Did he start the church? You guys start the church together, or was it a church that was already existing and you guys just plugged in?
it was pre-existing, and then he's been pastor there for 8 years.
Okay.
So, but we're able to do more. We're actually starting a satellite church north of us. It's a real asset for our community to be that encourager and help people build their faith. And then I don't know when you want me to, go into the third phase of what I'm involved in.
Go right ahead.
But,
Go
because of a realtor friend, I was introduced to a company in Houston, and this is like in April this year. And I was able to help them they were expanding their operation. They were tired of the 15-hour trip to India for this operation. And the executive loves Flamingo area here in Guanacaste. He said, I want to do an office for real estate appraisal, data entry, bring in new skills to this area, higher paying jobs. And so I was able to find the location, find the people, interviewed and hired, and we now have our initial team working here. And so we do research on the analytical side of real estate in the States, and provide the team up in Houston with all the research material that they can provide their clients with the best real estate data possible to help them make good decisions. So that became a full-time position.
So you also brought jobs to the community.
Yes, right. And that's what interested me with my background in workforce development in the States, was bringing jobs, helping people learn new skills, which is so needed in this area. Because basically in Guanacaste area, it's based on travel and, green season or dry season or rainy season or whatever. So this is a job that none of that matters.
Right.
So it's not seasonal. And it is a different job skill set. They knew they could go to Central Valley and have a ready workforce, that he wanted to invest here in Flamingo, which that's really, struck my heart that he had that choice, but wanted to be here for this job. So we have some Ticos and Ticas that are working with us, and I'm able to do it because I'm a remote. I work out in Texas, and so all the legal stuff before people start screaming, all the legal stuff is taken care of on that. So it's a good busy life. My wife's a teacher at CREA. This is her 5th year there, so that was another thing that helped us to come down here. She's a 3rd grade teacher, and she'll start her 23rd year, I think, of teaching. Wow. From the States and also here.
That's awesome. Do you guys have children?
Did we what?
Do you have children?
Oh, yes. The oldest daughter, who's still in Texas, and the youngest daughter, 3 grandkids, and her husband, who lives here, but then 20 kilometers away. My oldest granddaughter came down here, fooled around, fell in love, that old song. And now I have a great grandbaby, thanks to her also. So most of my family's here, actually, except for a grandson serving in the Navy, and my other daughter. So that makes it more friendly to be here, as you got most of your family here.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. We are, I think I may have told you this whenever we were talking before, but like we are having kind of the same plan. So our property is in Golfito, and our goal down there is to, the business that I have in the States is a call center for the automotive industry. So if you're on a dealership's website and you say, I love this vehicle, I want more information, and you put in your information, generally either somebody from the dealership calls you, or someone from like my company will call you, because we're serving on behalf of the dealership. And so to get bilingual agents in the United States is very difficult. And so I'm like, I can go down to Golfito and lease space, pull some people from the university there who their degree is in hospitality or in tourism, who have solid English skills as well, but that their Spanish is very, very good. And we can build out a call center there. And the same thing, like BPO is big in the Central Valley, right? They've got BPO all over the place in the Central Valley. However, these kids are having to leave. Like, think about how far Golfito is from San Jose to go there to go to work. Like, why? They went to school here. Why can't we put them a job right here? And so that will be our 2025 goal.
Oh, super. Yeah, and that's what he did. He knew he could go Central Valley, but he wanted to invest in it here. We did contact all the universities that had a business degree programs, and bilingual, and it's a great opportunity to do that. And also from Houston, I don't know where you're at, but from the Houston team, I got 4 of them here this week. Actually, it's 3-hour flight, and they're here, so it's convenient, and they love the location.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so then what do you think? Like, I mean, do we plan on this being like this is my life now? We're never going back to the States. I know some people are like, I think I'll go down for a period of time. And then when this happens, I'll move back.
This happened. You fill in the blank there. No, this is pretty much it. This is where my last chapter will be. And I say that happily. It's a choice that I have the opportunity to make. So this will be home.
I agree. That's how I feel too. I feel the same way. I always ask everybody these same questions, and what is something that when you move down there, and you have an unfair advantage because your brother blazed the trail for you. So I probably should be talking to him and not you, but because he did all the hard work. He did all the hard work. But like, what was one of the things?
I've had that for 60 years. Thank you.
What was one of the things when you moved down there and you thought it would be easy, but it ended up being more difficult than you thought it would be?
The biggest thing is really, I mean, I have a very open expectations. Some people call it paradise, and we'll see what happened to that in that old Eagles song. But paradise, it may have the framework to provide people to live a life that they find comfortable with them, but it's not going to be for everybody.
Right.
You want a gas station and a bank on every corner. If you want all the amenities you have in the States, certainly you lack for nothing down here as an expat, but it all depends on what your tastes are.
Right.
Mine, having the essentials the way I am. So everything here was just fine. I think the biggest thing is dealing with traffic. Traffic meaning the taxi driver that parks all of a sudden slams on his brakes because someone waves him down, and the motorcycles that speed by you and don't look at a stop sign, and I think that was the biggest thing, irritant, it could be, but I have, that's something I have to work on, and but as far as let it be an anxiety thing. I mean, just driving to work this morning, it was. Why couldn't that bus pull over a little in the parking area to pick up all those people? No, he has to park in the middle. And that's the way we are. And I just have a choice to make. Is that gonna rock my boat? Or are we gonna, just pyramid through it? So I think a lot of people, and I see this on social media. I think they sit around and they wait for something to happen so they can, scream. Well, this is not America. You need to cool your jets, okay? It's the big thing was some company bringing a particular American named company, and all the expats were, complaining about it. And so I just put on the chat. I said, well, perhaps there needs to be a expat review committee for a Costa Rica businessman before he invests his Costa Rica money in a business in Costa Rica, and it has to be approved by expats. I was being smart, of course, but it was like, if you don't want to go to that place, don't go.
Right.
I am invited to this country, so I think that's probably what really ticks me off the most is how just rude expats can be.
For sure. And like entitled, like our opinion matters. It doesn't. Literally, you're a guest. Be a guest, contribute and be a guest because this, until you become a resident, really you are a guest.
Right. And, for some people, unfortunately, in this day and age, it doesn't take anything to knock the chip off the shoulder. They walk around that way. And so I was like, and, I don't make comments on every negative thing. I just choose to ignore and go on. People have a right to type stupid stuff. But I'm not, I don't have to participate in every argument I'm invited to.
Right. Exactly. And it's funny because that is the entire reason why I started this podcast, is because like I see so many people that will come to those forums, they will come to a Facebook group, whatever, and they're looking for just an answer to a question. And then right off the bat, someone wants you to slap them in the mouth. And I'm like, why? Why would you do that? I mean, what just so if we can answer as many questions as people may have when they get here, like when you came down, Terry, did you sell all your stuff at home and then load up a bunch of totes and bring a bunch of junk with you? Or did you just bring suitcases? What'd you do?
When I came before my wife, it was like 2 suitcases. and then of course, my wife, she has a lot more clothes than I do because she's a school teacher. I went from Houston wearing a suit and tie and business attire to nice shirt, shorts, and flip flops or tennis shoes. And we didn't bring furniture down. The school, fortunately for us, provides housing. Nice. So we have a small apartment that's provided. So we didn't have that, tubs or containers coming in. That was not our experience to have to do that.
Interesting. I have interviewed a woman, and her and her husband and 5 kids moved down. And when they came, they've got like teenagers to like 5, I think. And when they came, they like flew with 32 tubs of stuff. I'm like, holy cow! I can't even imagine organizing that.
Yeah, that would be that'd be a fun challenge. I don't have 32 tubs.
I mean, I probably do, but they're not going to Costa Rica. My husband loves to, I tell him he's a hoarder because he just thinks about everything so practically. Like this one piece of wood is a good piece of wood and I don't have a use for it right now, but I may have a use for it in the future. So I'm going to put it over here in this pile of stuff. And the worst day of my life is the day when like 20 years later, that piece of wood actually is fruitful. I'm like, dang it, foiled again.
He says, I told you so.
Right? He's like, that piece of wood was perfect. And I'm like, oh, for Lord's sake. It's funny. So like every time like we're in the garage working on stuff and he'll be like putting stuff back up on shelves or whatever. And I'm like, hang on a minute. Is that going to Costa Rica? And he's like, no. I'm like, let's figure out a way to get rid of it then. Like, why? It's on the shelf. It's been on the shelf for 6 years. I don't care. Let's get rid of it. And he's just like, he looks at me like I'm asking for his firstborn. Like one time, this is a funny story. So one time we had, we lived on the lake and we had a boat and then we sold the boat, but we still had the life jackets and the ski rope and stuff. Right. And so I was having a yard sale one day and I like pulled all of that stuff out and I was putting it out to sell it. And he like comes in there and he's winding that rope back up. I'm putting it back up in the garage. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, it's a perfectly good ski rope. And I'm like, oh, we don't have a boat. Like it should have went with the boat. Why are we keeping it? And so he left for work and I went and grabbed it and put it back in the yard sale again. So
making a move here is a good way for people to declutter some of the things in their life. I mean, and for some people that would be a very healthy thing to do, is to declutter because things don't make you happy and you can't take them with you, but that's my opinion. Contentment is based on the individual, and for living here where we're at, I've got everything I need. I got family, church, business, friends, purpose, opportunity. So I'm happy.
One of the things that not only decluttering helps. But what I discovered is that anytime in the States and I'm going to purchase something, I like have to tell myself, you're not a consumer. What do you need that for? Like, do you not have something at home that's just equal to whatever it is that you think that you need right now? And so that's my mantra now. Every time I'm like shopping for something, so I'm like, oh my God, did you think this thing? It was so cool. And I'm like, I'm not a consumer. I'm not a consumer right now. Like, because like, if it's not going to Costa Rica, I'm not buying it.
Right.
In the store. And so mostly nothing is coming down there except for my shorts and my tank tops and my Keens and my flip flops. So, everything else, most of the houses that you come across, like even if you're leasing whatever, they're already furnished. If you're buying them, they're already furnished most of the time. So you're not even having to worry about that stuff. So I think that for a lot of people who are considering making that move, seriously, when I was a realtor, and I would walk into someone's house and all of their stuff, right? Their knickknacks and pictures and just little things were everywhere, right? And they're so used to seeing them, they're blind to them. And so I would take a picture of their living room and I would go, okay, what do you see? And they're like, oh my gosh, we have so much stuff. And I'm like, yes, get Rubbermaid tubs and start packing your stuff up. And so they would do it. We'd have to do that 3 times before they'd finally take enough of their crap out of their living space so people could imagine themselves living there and not like they were moving in with the Millers. And so I think about that whenever I walk through my house and I go, there's a bunch of crap in here. What is going to Costa Rica? Why is it still sitting here decorating why is it still here? Just start moving it on. And then like all my kids are grown. And so then I have like just a bunch of their stuff. And I'm like, y'all, you need to come get your stuff. And you can take some of my stuff with you as well. Like, I don't need your wedding dress. I don't need all of this stuff. That's your stuff. Take it with you.
I think my oldest daughter has one tub in her attic up in Texarkana, Arkansas, and that's all I have. And of course, there are some photos. There's my old Navy uniform, but yeah, I'm down to one tub in storage.
I know, and like I've got all of the kids' Letterman's jackets. I'm like, y'all need your Letterman's jackets back. I do not need them. Take your Letterman's jacket. That belongs to you and your family. Why do I have it? So it's good. So to not only just think about decluttering, but to also remember to stop being a consumer for a period of time before you get ready to make that move. So unless it's something that you're determined that you have to have in Costa Rica, you cannot get it there, you need to bring it there, then by all means don't purchase it. There's no need to.
Right.
So I didn't ask you about your being a pilot. That's kind of cool.
Pilot?
A pilot?
Pilot?
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I'm not a pilot. I don't know where.
I don't know where I got that either. Well, maybe you can't be a pilot. You just know it.
That was a goal at 42 when my kids were grown, was to get my pilot's license, but I don't think I shared that with you. And I'm 20 years behind that goal. So.
It's funny because I have the goal for my husband to get his pilot's license, and like he probably would. But like
your goal for your husband?
Yeah.
Your goal?
Yeah, my goal is for him to be a pilot. It's like on my wish list. Brian gets his pilot's license.
I don't think it works that way.
I know, but it would be cool if he did, but he probably won't. So it's all right. Well, Terry, I know that you have business partners in town today and you have stuff you have to get to. So I'm going to let us wrap this up. If there's any final words you have for anybody that's considering about a move to Costa Rica, what would that advice to them be?
That would be to do your research. Certainly come down, check out the different regions. There are different regions for different people for different needs. I'm amazed by people who say, we're leaving Costa Rica. What towns did you see? And the last one I saw, it was 2 particular towns, which were 2 of the biggest party touristy towns. And I thought, what a shame. They didn't go over where it's rural, or they didn't go up to the mountains. They went to 2 towns that for some people fits their style, but they've made their whole decision on those 2 locations. And it kind of it doesn't give Costa Rica a black eye, because there's a lot of other people that will gladly look. But do your research. If you post on a Facebook group, be wary of what you may hear. You can search certainly Howler Magazine. We have thousands of articles all about the different regions, about rainy season, dry season, what Batanes, Arnold, Central Valley. We have research, which is key. So you can use that for research, and then find somebody that will talk honest with you about certain areas. And you'll find those in the Facebook group. You'll find somebody that you can identify it's just like finding a school.
Right.
You got kids, in this region here, there's 5 or 6 international schools, and some people post like things on Facebook groups, and some people send private messages about maybe some of the realities. But do your research, and it's certainly not for everybody. Guanacaste may not be for everybody. I'm an hour from Liberia Airport. I got everything I need. I got good sodas I go to. Just do your due diligence, and then of course finding attorneys is. There's things to find. Real estates. There's articles on Howler about what kind of what to look for in real estate agents and things like that. So there's a lot of information out there. Don't be discouraged. Get your checkoff list of things that you have questions about, and then start finding those answers to those questions that you have. And follow you and listen to all your videos.
I agree 100%. All right, people, you know what to do. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also download the podcast, follow it as well. In the future, we'll be looking for some sponsors of the show so that we can kick these up a bit more and do more per week of these, and would love to consider somebody who's aligned with us really well. But for right now, if you know somebody who's looking and talking about and considering becoming an expat, moving to another country, moving to Costa Rica, by all means, share this podcast with them. There's some good resources. I've interviewed some great people who've already made the journey, who've already worked through some of the hard stuff, people who are attorneys, people who are logistics masters that have already worked through the logistics of getting your stuff down here. So don't be afraid to share this podcast. And as we always say at the end of every podcast is pura vida.